There we go. We're live. I figured it was just time to get these going live stream wise. It's sometimes you get caught in your own analysis paralysis and you don't know what the hell you want to do. It's been fun though, working through all the technical issues. Let's share some of the thumbnails I went through. I finally landed on this thumbnail. The original plan was to run this in Restream, but Restream in free mode has this enormous Restream sticker that goes right over all the text that I put in it. So I was like, they're ruining my fancy fan art, which I had to go with because everybody's using all these fancy AI images. Let me show you what I came up with here. Let's see, is this going to show? Yeah, there's this one. I like it because I was like, hey, don't do D&D. I want to talk RPGs, but no D&D. And it was like, all right, we'll do. And then it just put beyond D&D and all the and TTRPGs, exploring other games. It's like, oh, good. Make sure we say it twice so they know. And I don't think I've ever role played with anybody in this picture at all. And I certainly wouldn't play Pathfinder, for the love of God. But yeah, so there's that one. And then there's this other one that's Real Horror Show that I came up with. This one came up, I think, from Gemini. The next one is this is pretty awesome. I don't know who the dude on the left is. I kind of want to make like have AI make him like my co-host, and it'll just be like a machine I could talk to, and that'll be the Paul that Tall's Table Tam. I don't know why it says Paul Tall's Table Tam on the bottom. It says the proper name at the top, and then the AI was like, all right, you want Legend of the Five Rings? Here's whatever the hell this is. And that's definitely not 40K Rogue Trader. That's who knows. But this was some other AI that I just pulled up and I was like, you know what? Let's just, we'll bust out the old construction paper and macaroni and we'll make our own image. It was real easy. I was like, I'm just going to take the cover of Draw Steel and zoom in a little bit, clip off Draw Steel because I don't need the extra text. And I'll just put the title in the corner and there you go. It was like being a kid again. I got to bust out the Elmer's glue and munch on it a little bit. Let's see here. Who do we got in the chat? Oh my God. It's Bear and Jerry and Marco. All the people from the Bear family. They're watching me. They're going to watch me stumble through this. But anyway, yeah, if you don't know me, I'm Paul. I like to play tabletop RPGs. Going to try not to talk too much about D&D because I think I've come to the realization that I hate D&D. I came to that realization the past couple of years, mostly from dealing with, I think, people in the OSR. There's a weird attitude about it where they think like this is the only way to play this game. And I didn't get my start in D&D, so I have no real love for it, old or new. My favorite was 4th edition, strangely enough. The one that people say is a video game, even though you played it on tabletop, usually with miniatures measuring out squares. So I don't know how the hell it's a video game, except it's old farts judging it. So they thought like, oh no, it's got striker and tank and all these kind of class types, kind of like an MMO, like World of Warcraft did. So they were like, it's a video game. You're like, no, it's not. It's still an RPG. 4th Ed's more of a strategy game though. But either way, speaking of the OSR and all that, or where I started in RPGs, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I started with GURPS, Auto Duel, or After the Bomb. I forget which one it is. Palladium's After the Bomb. So it's one or the other. So anytime people get locked into the whole, well, D&D was the original, etc., and they have this, enormous like love story for it, I'm good for you. I hate it. It's kind of horrible. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to sit here and dredge up all that negativity about that stuff. Let's see. Beyond technical issues and all that, what do we want to talk about here? Draw Steel. We've been talking about video games or playing things like video games. They have Codex, which is its own, what do they call them? VTT, virtual tabletop. And it's run through Steam. So it kind of is like playing a video game. But if you've ever used Roll20, it's very similar, except it's kind of laser focused on this one system. They had a specific group of guys program it for Draw Steel. And it's really well done, actually. A lot of cool things are built into it. It does have a $20 price point. I think it was on sale when we had our group buy it. Me and the GM backed Draw Steel on Backer Kit, so we got free copies of it. But with that $20, there's search functions in it, so you could you have the main rule book, the monster manual, and the adventure that comes with it, all pretty much in PDF. That's all form searchable through the program itself. So if you think about it, you're getting more than what you're paying for. On top of it, has all the dynamic lighting fanciness of like Roll20 and all that. On top of auras and just other animations and layer effects that Roll20 doesn't have. The only problem is it's only for Draw Steel. But we've been playing it for, I'm trying to think how many weeks now. 7 or 8 sessions. We've played. First one we did on Foundry, that was before it came out. And then everyone after that was on the VTT specifically for Draw Steel. And it's been pretty awesome because it notifies you whenever you have like a reaction or anything. Like if you trigger an attack of opportunity, it'll fire up notices or notifications to whoever can utilize an action. And it's cool because with that, everybody's paying attention at all times during the combat. You don't just go, all right, I'm going to do my attacks on my turn, and then I can just wait for my initiative to come up again. You're going to have things you do throughout the combat turn. And it isn't all combat, too, in the game. There's a lot of cool stuff that they worked in this whole negotiation events where you have to kind of hook whoever the NPC is in that you're negotiating with before their patience runs out. Otherwise, you fail. So they worked out a really cool system with that. The mechanics for downtime are simple and works with how experience is gained, which is cool because experience in this is going to naturally piss certain people off, but there aren't just crazy numbers for doing things. That it isn't like, you get experience for gold or experience for fighting or whatever. You get victories, which are if you avoid a trap, if you successfully negotiate with somebody, if you defeat something in combat, if you avoid something, anything in which you succeeded and the story's moving forward counts as a victory for you. Then when you take downtime, which has to be 24 hours, your character rests or does all this other stuff, whatever their downtime activity is, you change your victories into experience points. And I think it's 16 or 17 to get to level 2. So as you go, you're going to kind of build up these combats or scenarios that you go through, and slowly but surely you'll get your experience. But you have to take downtime, in which case you could do projects like learning a new skill, learning a new language. One of the players, we're playing I forget what the hell the scenario was called again. It was the Delian Tomb. I think that's the original scenario that came out for it. Was called was in there, and there was a wizard's tower that we cleared out, and one of our guys who's kind of like the spell shaper was like, okay, I'm going to use a downtime activity to kind of clean out this tower. Now, something like that is going to be more than, say, writing a scroll or making a healing potion. He's trying to make this tower into kind of his sanctum. So I think the GM set it to like 1,000 or 2,000 points or something like that. So every time you take the downtime, you roll plus any applicable skills and anything like that. And then whatever the total is, that gets put into pretty much like an achievement. So once he hits 2,000 total, he'll get that. And something that's that long, like 2,000, because usually I think they recommend like every 200 some odd points, you add in like an event. Something happens as you're doing this, which is going to make sense because it was a whole big crazy wizard tower that he's going to have to, fight all the traps, disenchant whatever horrible stuff is happening. But as he goes, like he hits those milestones, I think it's going to be, every 250, we're going to have to help him out and see what's going on in there. There was a fort that we fought some bandits at. I'm cleaning that out. And I'm trying to think of what the other... the orc troubadour in our group wanted to take on a follower because I think they have it set up. You have the rules in D&D. I think it's like at 8th or 9th level. At some point, you can start picking people up, and they'll join you to, you'll be like a stronger hero. It goes along with the domain rules that a lot of people don't play with. But in this, you stack up renown, and I think every 3 points of renown you can get like a significant follower, almost like a henchman type follower. So there was a thief in a rival adventuring group that was really kind of disenchanted with what they were doing. And he was like, "Hey, why don't you join us?" So we talked her into joining the group, and so now she's like I think she's a combat character that helps him out in combat. She's not as good as like a regular character naturally, otherwise that would kind of break the game. But she does kind of like range attacks and some other sneaky thiefish type stuff. So it's like, okay, cool. We've got extra character with that. And I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody. That magician. Oh, then we have a thief. I think he's talking to one guy who was part of some kind of sacred order. I think he's working on this is the thief in the group, so he's doing sneaky shit. I'm actually not too sure what he's doing. So he's very playing up to what a thief is, I suppose. But it's just there's some really sharp things I think they do in the system, and I like how Codex organizes everything. For whether it's your downtime projects or even when you do any of your rolls, because critical hits in Draw Steel, you're rolling 2d10 for all your attacks, and you critical on a 19 or 20. So you have 3 chances, I think 3 out of 19. So it's definitely better than the 5% on a regular d20 that you're going to get a crit. And in this, it doesn't just go, okay, what did you do? Well, you crit when you attack, so you get extra damage. In this, it just gives you another main action. So you could use that to attack. You could use it to do a utility power. It gives you that much flexibility in what you're doing. And it helps that they base this off of 4E, which I love. So, but it's simpler than that. It only goes up to level 10, and I think it's like every 3 levels you enter kind of like a new. Oh God, I forget what it's called. It's like a new epic, like kind of level of play, in a way. They do that in Daggerheart. They do it in. Do they do it in Shadow the Demon Lord? I think they do as well. Where it's like in Shadow the Demon Lord, you started off with like the novice level classes, and then I think at first level you picked your novice level classes, and then at like second or third you picked it. Like, so your novice level stuff was like your fighter, thief, cleric, wizard, basic archetype stuff, and then it slowly branched out whether you were going to be like a knight, a witch, a sorcerer, or whatever that split off into each of those specific things. It's similar in this, but there aren't those choices where you're specializing in a certain thing. Well, kind of wrong on that. There's 3 different ways to play, I think, each class that focuses on a certain way. So you could be like a poison rogue, you could be like a trap, sneaky intrigue kind of guy. They have that, but it's not like Pathfinder or any of the third ed stuff where it's a prestige class where you're focusing on something. So, it's been a lot of fun so far. The GMs took 2 weeks off in Bermuda though, so we're hoping he comes back so we can get back to playing. But we can understand he wants to spend some time with the family and enjoy some good weather. But other than that, I'm trying to think I was trying to get him to jump on tonight so we can have somebody to bounce off of. One thing I'm thinking is we want to discuss more of the kind of the indie games that we like. He's a big fan of Fate. He has the second edition of 13th Age that he's really jazzed to run. So I want to check that out too. Even though I think, who is that? That's Hinsu and Jonathan Tweet. So it's like one of the guys from 3rd edition and one of the guys from 4th edition teamed up to make a system. And they've got some interesting ideas, but it just seems like that's already been surpassed with Draw Steel in simplifying what 4th edition is. Because I don't know. 13th Age, we'll see. It has some interesting ideas. I like the escalation die. That's kind of cool. I like anything that makes combat move faster. I like dealing damage on misses, though I like Draw Steel's better. It's like you're always going to deal damage, even because I think it's if you roll an 11 or under, you deal the minimum amount of damage, which is minuscule, but at least combat keeps going. It's going to reach a resolution. Whereas if you get, the medium range band, you deal a decent amount of damage, and the top tier usually is like they have to make a saving throw. They've got a status effect. There's all kinds of stuff happening. That's, the really good stuff. And there's all kinds of things you can spend surges and whatnot to do more damage. Whereas, I don't know. That's why I guess I want to know what his opinion is of the second edition of 13th Age, if they added or changed anything. Let's see, what do we got here? Sergeant Dan. You mean 13th Age? Oops, too late. LOL. Oh, cheery. Yeah. But yeah, it's yeah, I want to see that. I know he was big on playing Star Wars, but the D20 version though, which I'm like, I don't know about that. We'll see. I'll listen to his stories about it because he's a big fan of Star Wars. Me, I left that behind in '97 when remember when Greedo showed up and Han was like, and then he moved his head out of the way of a blaster. I was kind of like, all right, I'm kind of done with this. Well before the prequels, I was like, and don't make me laugh about that shit where people are like, see, the sequels were awful, so the prequels got to be good. It's like, no, dude, you're just young and you liked them. That's cool. I watched them in high school. They're awful. They still are. Moving along though. I don't want to shit on those. I don't want to shit on anybody else's joy, but yeah, prequels are bad. What's going on, Bear? Being quiet there, Mr. Ellipses. He's judging me silently. I was trying to beg him for help with the thumbnails. I'm just no good with the AI. I don't have any patience for it. I'm sick of the AI. Anyway. But yeah, as far as future episodes and live streams go, I think for sure I want to talk about what we're reading, book-wise, adventure-wise. I pick up a lot of stuff at Gen Con and different conventions, whether it's adventures or other things. Just what we're thumbing through right now. I'm waiting on some stuff actually to ship. And excited to run some new stuff. But that, and what else? I'm trying to see if I made any more promises for the live stream as far as what I want to do or talk about here. Bob Vecna, how are you doing? Good to see you. There we go. The who, what, and why. I think I kind of covered that. I'm Paul. First game was either GURPS Auto Duel or Palladium's After the Bomb. What? Tabletop gaming. Probably my biggest hobby. I've got a lot of stuff on the shelf back here. I've been playing mostly on for the past almost 30 or 40 years rather. And the why, not enough people talking about non-D&D games. I think that's the thing. And I was like, you know what? That's why I was trying to contact my buddy. I was like, look, we gotta get on here and talk about other stuff. Because everybody I jump to is either getting really jazzed about the OSR, which, hey, that's cool. Who doesn't love another clone of BX? Just, the same thing rehashed over and over again. Man, I don't want to be negative Nancy, but my God, that one game that I saw on Kickstarter really stabbed me in the heart, where the artwork looked like Masters of the Universe, and they're like, oh, and it's got the seven unique classes, which pretty much broke down to cleric, fighter, thief, magic user, elf, dwarf, and halfling. Because those exist in Masters of the Universe. It's just BX compatible. Why not, guys? And hey, good on you. If you got money to just burn, why not? Who doesn't these days? Love other games just for their variety. They're a non-D&D game. Oh, no. It's Jason. He plays Knave. It's all right, Jason. I still love you, even though you play Knave. He got me, though. I can't really judge it on its merits because I don't really care much about it. It was hard to find the rules. It was hard to find the rules for Knave in the book, because as you flip through, it's mostly this. It's mostly D100. Just but there's the rules. There we go. But like if you flip through, it's like, holy God, that's a lot of D100 tables for here's a word that describes the weather. This is the GM's guide to Mad Libs, mostly. And for that thin little book, it's like $40. Not worth it. Anyway, but I digress. Isn't it 2 pages of rules, no snark? I think I count. I'm trying to think because I did hand count it because I was losing my mind when I pulled it out of the when I pulled it out of the mail and brought it to work. I was like, well, I guess it's got to be more than 2 because at least the end papers are useful. They're rules. So technically that's 4, but the end papers usually rehash stuff. But I swear to God, most of the stuff is D100 tables. D100 mutations, delusions, disasters, magic schools. 100 magic schools. Yeah. I'm going to put this down. This makes me very angry, and it hurts my brain to think about. So I'm going to leave that over there now. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That is the worst piece of shit that I own in my entire book collection, and I think, yeah, I've got some awful books. That one really kind of takes the cake. Anyway, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Why did I buy it? Bought into the hype. I think that was it. And I think that's the thing. That was the lesson to be learned. I got it because I was like, I like Questing Beast. I like his, he's a guy who kind of brings up some really cool, obscure systems that you don't see a lot of. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to check these out. And then he's like, hey, I'm working on something. And it's like, oh, all right. And, it's a lesson to be learned that sometimes the guy, I think I equated him to Roger Ebert. Roger Ebert knew movies. And then he made a movie. And you realized, that's when you realize that guy doesn't understand anything about making movies. He just understands consuming them. So it's like, in that way, it's like Questing Beast. He understands the consumption of it. I get that. The writing, well, it's a whole other thing, I suppose. What's this about? Elves? Tee-hee-hee. Just don't dox me, Jess. Please don't. And no, there won't be any kittens or elves. Sorry. Let's see. Mainly for the you got it mainly for the tables. Well, you're in luck, Bob Vecna, because my God, I think I what did I say? I was talking to my buddy Morgan Hazel, and I was like, this thing is 88% tables. Like, I went through and hand counted every page because I was like, how did you make a rule book and it's all tables? I think who was it? I think it was Matt Finch that was pushing one of his like world builder or quest writer guide books. And as soon as he mentioned, and it's full of tables, I was just like, okay, awesome. Wallet closed. I don't need tables, guys. Use your imagination. It's like, well, if I'm on the run and I really need you're going to re-roll on a D100 table. You're going to be like, oh, I don't know what trunculacious means. I better roll again on the table. And it's like, that's not the whole point of it. What you need to, let's pick up the Cursed Tome again and say, oh, here we go. D100 signs. Oh, let's say 42, the meaning of life. What's 42 on a sign? Graves. Okay, so there's graves. And I guess this is signs not in the business sign, but like something just a random thing you see, or a portent. You probably should put portent instead of signs, but it's not like he had a thesaurus handy when he was writing these D100 tables. Solo games? Oh, I could see that for solo games, I suppose. Sure. That's something I can never wrap my head around. When I found out that Servant of Shiloh was a solo RPG, I was like, how do I started getting like that jutting brow, like, how does work? I couldn't understand it. It was like flint cut tree and make spark that become fire. Magic. Scared me, but it's cool. Hey, good on you. I don't know. For me, it's a social game. Solo RPGs for me would be like Diablo. I don't want to do the math. Let the computer do it, for the love of God. I don't need any charts and tables. I am, however, getting what's his name's Arathi Sector, Castle Grief, mostly because I want another sci-fi game. It's D6 based. and it's just you explore a sector of space, and you don't have to play it solo. So I was like, awesome. It kind of itches that traveler itch without being traveler. Because if there is you guys meet in an inn, traveler is you're all poor space truckers on the verge of bankruptcy. You want to play, what is it? Late stage capitalism, misery porn, the game. You're like, I don't know. We're kind of living that. I don't know. Traveler could be cool. It's just the starting points for it. And that's always I should write this down for a subject for another video. The starting point for the RPG. You're like, do we want to do that? Can we just be like why don't we have like an explorer ship instead of us being trading widgets planet to planet and making space money to buy more spaceship or whatever the hell the point is of the kind of merchant fleet trader in Traveler. I never read much of the fluff other than there's the psychic guys, the weird wolf people and all that stuff. There's, Traveler's Traveler. But that's why I got the other game. Let's see here. Explorers sound much more interesting than Space Peddlers. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Like, you have to really have people that want to play Space Merchants, or the guys that want to do domain play in general. I think that was being brought up. Shadow was talking about that with D&D and domain play. And I mentioned on his channel, it's like the guys I play with on Sunday have been playing D&D since the dawn of time. And they said, I think they played one serious domain campaign ever. And it just didn't, you don't have it in you. Some people really want to go with like, hey, we're playing Civilization. I'm going to count the roads. I'm going to pretty much play Adventure, Conquer a King. But, not everybody wants to play Merchant Prince where you're sitting there talking about, all right, well, how many bushels of corn or whatever can we trade? They're just like, God, weren't we playing Conan or something? What's happening here? The thing is you need a very curated table, I think, to run a proper domain game. My Saturday game with Saxius, the Rogue Trader 40K. I think 90% of the table is like the spreadsheet minded. Okay, cool. We can do this. They're thinking like 5 steps ahead as far as like empire building and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, cool. It's a very different energy. And that's why it's nice to have multiple games as well. Cause it's like, if I had to do that, play that game 4 days a week, it'd be like, all right, now this is getting old. So you have games where it's like, okay, cool. You could be a little bit more in character. It's a little bit more about the drama based. Or you have this game where it's like, no, I'm a part of a crew of like 60,000 people. I'm just a little bit higher on the totem pole. So my opinion matters, but I'm a small part of this big moving process, this machine. We're working for, it's almost like kind of Age of Discovery, Age of Sail, where you guys have this enormous flotilla of ships and you're building up your trade and your colonies and stuff. And it's cool because it's 40K. So there's always going to be combat and craziness and aliens and demons and all that wackiness on top of all the bean counting. But usually the bean counting is like, oh, we're dealing in weapons or, whatever, laser rifles, chain swords, all the items of 40K that are crazy. Let's see. A friend of mine used solo play to test out adventures for his group, yet all that was fun for him. Yeah. I've seen that too. I've seen people for play testing, especially if they're running stuff for conventions and whatnot. Yeah, they'll run it through to be like, does this sound right? How does this work out? And then they'll run like their pre-gens through an adventure and be like, okay, how's this work? And sometimes it doesn't, and you have to make some tweaks. Let's see. $171 for Draw Steel. Marco, are you in? Is that dollary dues? Or are you in Australia? That is, I don't think I paid $171 for it. Let me double check. I don't think No, this is it's not screen sharing, thankfully. Think it was on Backer Kit. I definitely didn't pay that much for it. Jesus. Why Backer Kit needs a dark mode? My face. Draw steel. With shipping altogether, I believe it was $135. Canadian. Uh-oh. Yeah, I suppose that is a little bit. But at least when I backed it through that too, I did get that Codex for free, plus all the PDFs and all that stuff. They did have some kind of fancy pants version, and I was like, kind of done on those. I don't need a leatherette cover. I do like. Oh boy, I do love cloth bound. I don't like faux leather. Cloth bound is really cool. Ooh, look at it. Now that's a big strip of cat fur. Anyway, there you go, Jess. Cat fur all over everything. But yeah, nice and cloth bound. Oh, cool. But nobody's playing Tales from the Loop. I like to talk about it because it's like, oh, cool. It's like Stranger Things. Remember Stranger Things? Before it had that last horrible season? Actually, it had a bunch of horrible seasons, but people love it. Good on them. But yeah, nobody's playing that. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'll get the base rules. Even then, now I'm kind of like, this Gen Con, I think I mentioned, I didn't even plan any time to go to the exhibitor hall. I think I'll check it out Sunday. So if it's like, oh, we're sold out of this, I'll be like, shucks. I won't impulse buy anything. Oh no, I might actually research. Let's see here. Beyond the Wall. I think I got a copy of that. That's an interesting one. Who does that one? Coco. That guy does some cool stuff. Beyond the Wall. And then I think, was that the same guy that did oh Jesus, I forget what the hell it's called. Oh, are you talking about Game of Thrones? Did you see my excitement change? I was like, oh, that cool. Oh, you're talking about that indie game? And it's like, oh, Game of Thrones. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Oh, Game of Thrones. Nobody knows how to end things properly. Yeah. And I think that's why he's not really jazzed on finishing those books. He's like, ooh, they didn't like that the kid that just gets wheeled around in a wheelchair the whole time. And if you read in the books, he does some awful things. You don't like that he becomes king in the end? Oh, shucks. It's like, yeah, I guess it's done. That's okay. He's old. He doesn't give a shit. He'll die and never have to hear people complain about anything again. Beyond the Wall and Other Adventures is fucking tits on toast. Well, there you go. You have it there from Bear. Yeah, Beyond the Wall, that's good stuff. And then Canada. You guys are the wildlings up there? Yeah. Who is the not awful person in Game of Thrones? I liked Beric Dondarrion. I thought he was a not awful person. Named my paladin in World of Warcraft Beric. That was way back in the day in 2004. He got his money. Yeah, I think that's it. He's got HBO money, so he's done. It's kind of like in comics, Mark Millar. That guy's, I call him Mr. Netflix because that's it. Anything he writes now just feels like a pitch. He does like these 3-issue comics now, and if they don't pick up, he throws them out. He's like, I need the next one because it's going to become a Netflix original. And that's it. He's got his money. He doesn't. You need a certain level of hunger in order to build. There's like something behind that desperation that fuels creativity. And that's why the prequels were never going to be good. George Lucas, I mean, you look at the behind the scenes for the first Star Wars, and it was like that thing was held together with, with bubble gum and Scotch tape. They were praying to God it would work, and it did. But then after that, it's like, all right, then. Well, the next one was his teacher in film school directed it, so it's like, okay, well, obviously that guy's going to know what's happening. But by the time they got to the third one, it was like, well, shit, how do we end this trilogy? And you're already at this kind of height where people are expecting something. It's just, yeah, you never get there again. Don't ignore my questions just because I'm usually not serious. What was your question, Jess? What are you talking about? You didn't even have a question. Jess, read up there. Clothbound is nice, period, declarative. Even with cat fur, period, declarative. I don't see the question, Jess. You're going to have to help me. Oh, serious question. What is your all-time favorite? Hoisted by my own petard. Serious question. What is your all-time favorite RPG to play? You might have already said that, but favorite all-time to play. I have the fondest memories of L5R 4th edition. I'm liking Draw Steel the way that it plays. God, it's tough. It depends on what it's for. That's the thing. It's like it's hard to nail down one. That's why the top 10 list is so easy to do, because it's like, okay, we could cover things. If you want to do the social aspect, X, Y, and Z works better or whatever. There were certain characters that I like to play from certain ones. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I'm going to knock Shadowrun off. I played a lot of it. I had a lot of fun with it, but God almighty, that system is taxing to play and to just figure out, because once you go from like second to third edition, forget it. And we played a lot of third edition, I think probably out of spite. Anyway, yeah, it's tough. That is a tough one. I think I put L5R 4th edition as my number one. We'll go with that for now until it changes. Things are always in flux. Things are always changing around these parts. BX. Ugh. Yeah, BX. Watched a video today. Almost got in on this guy's Saturday's game. That's the thing. Sometimes things just happen and it's fate. Just the way it works out. I ended up in Saxy's Saturday game. He asked me as I was on hold about to jump into this one guy's OSC game. And then earlier today, this guy released a video and he's like, BX is still the number one best system. Yes, Cat. Best system ever for X, Y, and Z reasons. And I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't end up in this game. I'm kind of glad I ended up in the spreadsheets and space game. You all right, Cat? This crazy lady in Florida has been asking about you. Her name's Jess. There you go, Jess. There's a cat. She's been leaving fur all over the place. Anyway, let's see. Hunger is what drives me. Creativity, 100%. That's right, Bear. See, that's why I was like, look at that. Even though he's basing the superhero game around 5e, you bust it out and you look at it and you go, oh, okay, something different here, just in the way that it works. D&D, it breaks things down very well. I think, again, it comes down to preconceived notions and what you understand and what you know. If you're going to play a thief, it's going to be one of three ways. That's how they set up 5e. It was like, you had the three, like the fighter had like the champion dice guy and the other, and then each of them has one that uses the spells. I don't know. I didn't play a whole lot of D&D 5e. D&D kind of, like I said, 4th Ed was my favorite. And after people shat on that thing so hard that they were pretty much wiping blood, I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to play any more of this. Even though the 5th Ed uses at-wills and counters and dailies, and we'll not get into the weeds about it. But Bear's heroic 5th Ed version of the game has a lot of interesting stuff to it. It's in playtest, so we're going to see what we can nail down. But it's more about archetypes. And that's usually how characters work. It isn't like, again, the problem with D&D is like, oh, you're playing a ranger? Well, you're going to it has to be a lot like Aragorn, or it's X, Y, and Z. Oh, you're playing a thief? Well, you're going to have, you have to play it like this. There's no flexibility in what you can do. You have to find your niche and stick to it, whereas what Bear's designing is a little bit more broad. You can be like, no, this is my character idea, and I have the options to plug in that will actually allow me to play that, which is difficult in a superhero game, because what's the longest standing one? Champions, right? That's the one where it's like you have a point. It's a point buy system, and you could sit there and have you know, a computer that worked out launch codes and stuff like that for NORAD, just punch out characters for it forever, and still not find the most optimal build or whatever for characters. And like, I don't think any of that is fun. This is much more simple. It's like, okay, you have power sets that work in tiers, and you only have a certain amount of picks depending on how powerful you want your campaign to be. That's another thing that's needs to be looked at too. One of my buddies was always like, I'm tired of playing the heroes that come from nowhere that have to save the world. And we're mentioning Star Wars. It's like that, where you're like, oh, I'm a kid that farms water on a desert planet. I have to stop the world destroying super laser from the empire that controls everything. But I'm the kid that was just a dirt farmer. And you're like, I guess, yeah, it's a little too cliched. Everybody's like, oh, you got to be big heroes. And it's like, well, sometimes big heroes do small things. It doesn't always have to start off being, oh, big bad evil guy, big, all these tropes that you kind of come up with. It's like, no matter what it is, if you use it repeatedly, it will get stale and you will get over it. So just being guys who are like, I'm going to take care of this, and there are other heroes in the world and you can interact with them and maybe team up to do stuff. Okay, that's kind of cool. But when it's like, oh yeah, these 4 guys are going to save the world, and then you come along with the, in D&D, it's like, oh yeah, no, this guy's a retired adventurer and he's just selling +1 swords or whatever. And it's like, hey, the world was about to end. Why didn't you get up and do anything? Why did Dirt Farmer and the poor urchin have to team up to save the world? That doesn't make any sense. So 2-hour combats and champions, see, yeah, that's the thing too. I'm thinking it just is fun to play, and I'm trying to think of where combat was fun to play. I liked combat in Lancer, but that was pretty much Shadow of the Demon Lord BattleTech. That was it. You're not really role playing. But at least the combats kind of moved along. You had some fun options. But yeah, whenever you have those combats, especially in anything where you can miss, I'm starting to realize that missing in combat is pointless. It makes the game move slower. I understand, yeah, in fights, attacks are going to miss, but it's like in the highlight reel that you watch of the boxing match or the MMA match, you're not watching all the misses. You're watching like the slow-mo. Oh, look at this powerful hit. Look how this guy landed this. Look at this counter punch. That's what you're there for. You're not there to just be like, all right, and now they're in a rest hold for 5 minutes. You're like, oh my God. I watched plenty of heavyweight fights back in the Tyson era for boxing, where it was like, wow, you know what? It's kind of sad that I missed out on like Manny Pacquiao and like the featherweight guys who could actually box for 12 rounds. Instead, you wanted to watch these, 300-pound Frankensteins just beat their brains out for 3 rounds, and then they were gassed the rest of the time. So yeah, just a lot of whiffing and dodging and stuff like that. And that's why it's cool to have things like encounter powers where you're like, okay, I could use this dodge, but that's it. I have 1 and it'll save me damage. That's it. Other than that, hits are going to land. They're going to do a little bit of damage. You have to replenish yourself. And that's kind of what's cool in Draw Steel. You have a lot of, what the hell were they called in 4th Ed? I forgot. You could use Second Wind to spend them, and when you use healing potions, you could spend the healing surges. You have those, except I forget what they call the exact term was they use in Draw Steel, but you have these kind of like every time you use it, it heals 1/3 of your hit points, and usually you have between like 9 and 15, depending on what race and class you're playing. Some of them give you a little bit more, some give you a little bit less. But that's usually the deciding factor of when you're going to take a downtime, because you're like, we just can't run out an adventure right now. This guy has no more health refreshes left, and he's down to 3 hit points. So we're gonna take the day. He's gonna go clean some boxes in his wizard tower and relax. That's about it. Looked at Nimble. It's built for speed. I've heard Nimble mentioned. I don't know what it is though. But from the people I've heard it mentioned by, and you, I'm not so sure. What's Nimble like? Is it a OSR game? The cat wants to know. You keep meowing, I'm going to put you on camera. Is Nimble OSR? She's just going to watch live as she claws my face. Easy, buddy. It's okay. We're just waiting on Jason here. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Me, I'm trying to clean up over here. Shadow Dark was fun for a hot minute. Still is fun. It's easy to run. It's pretty much BX, but better. Stay out of trouble, butthead. Let's see. It started its life as 5e house rules, and dude ended up writing his own game. Oh, there you go. That's good. That's how you should do it. The games should be an iterative process, kind of like engineering. That's why I don't understand all these people who are like, you have to play with the original rules. It's like, the original rules in D&D, I seem to recall, were, oh, are you doing overland travel? Break out a board game called Wilderness Survival and play that. What? That'd be like, oh, you're gambling in game? We're going to stop playing right now. We're going to break out a deck of cards and chips and play poker. No, it's not what you should be doing at all. You know, you want to do domain play? Let's play a board game of Monopoly. You're like, look, guys, at some point, I understand there's people who are like, well, there's the simplicity of things. And I'm like, sure. But if we're going and playing another game to emulate that, that's kind of going a step beyond. That's like, you know, you're abdicating almost that your game has no idea what it should do in that situation. So let's just play whatever, a board game instead. So, yeah. Nimble is agile. Very true. Very true, Marco. Nimble is expensive. Uh-oh. Is this another one that's in... That is expensive in Canada land? Why don't we look up Nimble RPG? I'm going to have to research this now. Slay the TTRPG. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I think I've seen this. I recognize this art. Fast, tactical. You have my attention. 5e compatible TTRPG. Game nights are too precious to waste on slow or fiddly rules. Very true. And then you're going to get those guys who are like, but what if I like slow rules? And it's like, I don't give a shit what you like. It's not my time. My time is not yours to waste. You understand? All right, here we go. So 4 bullet points. Tactical, flexible action economy. Use your actions however you like. You can make more choices that really matter. 2, strategic weapon system. A subtly deep weapon system that rewards thoughtful play. No more, I guess I'll pick the bigger one. Every weapon is balanced to have interesting strengths and weaknesses in combat. I do appreciate that. That is one thing that's like, even going back to AD&D, when you get rid of the, even though those tables are ridiculous, because it doesn't make any sense. Gary Gygax really should have watched a little bit more about medieval combat. The halberd is not the end-all be-all ass kicker that it's built to be. But at least it made the weapons different. Original D&D, when all weapons did d6 damage, it's like, it's kind of lazy. That's why, yeah, when they added things like finesse, or you could, like a bastard sword, you could use it two-handed to get a little extra damage with it. You're like, okay, you change things up just ever so slightly. It makes what you're wielding feel different and have a point to using something different, instead of what was it in 3rd edition that all the dummies were using? Mercurial Greatsword. Yeah, whole party's using Mercurial Greatswords. Anyway, 3, flexible skill system. Your skills grow, change with your character and the story. I'd like to see that. That's interesting. 4, overhauled spell and magic system. Thank God. Vancian magic is the stupidest thing. I don't know why it's lived for 50 years. You guys have heard me say it. It's pretty much hard points on like a gunship. That's all it is. You're like, okay, I have this many missiles and this many rounds in my chain gun. And then once they're empty, I'm going to beg everyone that we could do, an 8-hour rest or whatever, so I could get more fireballs and visibility and levitate and return to being an Apache gunship. Anyway, overhauled spells and magic system. Easier to pick up. less restrictive, and more freedom to cast the spells you want to cast. I'd like to see that. Possibly getting rid of like spell levels. You can do whatever you want. That'd be interesting. What is this? Respect the story. Keep role playing. Keep role playing and the story flowing through combat with the new assess action. Uncover enemy plans, spot hidden weaknesses, gather information to claim the tactical edge over your foes. Overhauled rests. Resting rules that respect and facilitate the story. Overhauled rests to support characters' engagement with NPCs in the story. No more unfun resting rules that warp combat encounters and slow the game down. Again, like I said, the downtime in Draw Steel did that as well. There's a lot of cool stuff where it's like you can, build bridges with organizations. It's very wide open. I'm thinking this is probably a little bit more nailed down and specific, but I like that resting rules are very specific. Epic legendary monster system. Legendary monsters act after each hero's turn. Okay, making legendary battles much more tactical, memorable, and easier to balance no matter the party size. Bloodied and Last Stand. The tide of battle dramatically shifts as they gain additional abilities when their HP dwindles. See, this is like that World of Warcraft stuff that people are crying about. Why don't you just play a video game, man? It's like, well, they looked at the boss design in World of Warcraft, the game that millions of people were playing for a very long time, and how some of the boss encounters were cool. And they thought, how do we make our fights cool in boring-ass D&D? Made for GMs and heroes, legendary monsters are extremely easy for the GM to run at a glance and tactically challenging for the heroes to fight. There you go. I think nothing's more boring than all right, you've got a 2d12 gnolls, kill 2d12 gnolls. Here's 30 to 50 kobolds you just have to cut down like mowing the grass on Saturday. And you're like, if it doesn't sound fun, it's not going to be fun. If it's a chore, why are we doing it? We're supposed to be heroes here. I get it, And it's, some people would say like, that's the players being demanding, but even like having run stuff, sitting there and being like, okay, Kobold 5 just lost 3 hit points. And it's nice having one big bad guy, and then he gets cool abilities that he gets to use on cooldown, or that shifts as the battle changes. Interesting stuff to kind of challenge the players. Use terrain. Hollows. That's a game that I'm picking up by Rowan Rook and Deckard. It works a lot like, almost like what are those games? Elden Ring was like that. What are those Souls-like games where it focuses, the terrain map is the monsters in the middle, and it's you guys all fighting around it. It's this big crazy monsters thing. You have to utilize the terrain around it. It's a little theater of the mind, but it's more abstract tactical. But the monster has different abilities depending on what's going on, what kind of terrain it can interact with, where the players are. Just it's little things like that. It might sound too, I don't know, it might sound fiddly, it might sound too many pulleys and levers, but there's something interesting about when you play it, what unlocks that they can use that's really kind of cool. Let's see. You attack the lever dice the weapon has, so dagger's a d4, you only miss on a 1, and you crit with the highest number on the die. Interesting. So dagger has a high chance of miss then, and a high chance of crit, so it's like a high risk, high reward. Index card RPG, any thoughts? Played it once at Gamehole Con last year, or maybe it was the year before that. It was okay. They tried. It's just D20 systems in general for me. I'm like, I don't know. It was okay. It's definitely, I think it opens it up. It opens up D20 in a kind of a more free-form way. Because the guy that was running it was his first time running a game. He's like, this is my first game I've ever run at a convention. I hope you guys like it. He did a decent job. It just, it was definitely better than Tales of the Valiant, which I was like, this is just this is what it is. You guys just took 5e and filed the serial numbers off. It wasn't that great. $102 on Amazon for what? Index card RPG or for Nimble there, Coco? Crits are exploding dice. Yeah, that could be crazy. I've seen D4 crits, especially in, I think we played first edition Earth Dawn. When you have really low steps, you're rolling D4s. Holy shit! Yeah, it's like you might not think you're very skilled, but when those D4s start popping, it's kind of crazy. No worries, Coco. Nimble. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even look at the prices. I'm just, it's interesting looking at it. The whole pushing 5e compatible for me is no big thing, but I could see for other people, because they list all these: Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Annihilation, Dragon Heist, Flea Mortals, what are all these, Creature Codex, all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, there's so many books. That's always the problem is D&D has such a enormous gravity well. You're never going to escape it. But the plus side is you have a lot to draw from. Let's see. More focused, streamlined character sheet. Yeah, that's for certain. I like how they show the D&D and Pathfinder pages, and then Nimble is like, it's like half or a third of the page, pretty much. Which, that's good, especially for that crowd that says, hey, the answers aren't on your character sheet. I'm like, well, that makes sense. Nimble box set, $150. No shit. Well, it is sold out though, so hey, what do I know? PDFs, digital PDFs from $34.99. Nimble extras. Oh, good on you. I think that's the thing. It's just, I'm glad it exists. I think it's cool. I think that's really how things should be. You find house rules, and then use that passion you have for the game to make your own product. Don't go, I like BX. I'm gonna clone BX again. there's enough BX clones to last forever. But I like that, they realized, hey, this sucks. This is a little fiddly. I don't like how slow this makes combat. It'll still be compatible. It's just going to be a little bit faster. It's like, okay. There is room for that. There is room for improvement in the hobby, especially for the largest RPG, the elephant in the room, which is D&D. So many games from the US are so bloody expensive here now. Yeah. That is the problem. We have to get them printed in, what is it? Is it Lithuania or Latvia? It is one of the Baltic nations that does like all the printing for Free League. Or you're printing in China. Or you're buying Castles and Crusades, which is printed in the US, but you have to buy Castles and Crusades. So take that for what it is, unfortunately. Nimble 2E is on its way. Not big changes to the rules other than him adding stuff and cleaning up. Yeah, I could see that too. It's almost like Hyperborea, how they do different edition changes for that. There isn't it isn't broad sweeping rule changes. Instead, it's more, the book sold out, and instead of just reprinting the old books, we're going to look through. We're going to actually print in the errata. We're going to come up with a new cover. We're going to add a little bit more cultures and different options, and then here you go, second edition. But it doesn't change things to where if you were playing first edition, you wouldn't know what the hell you're doing. Used to print it all here in Canada. Yeah, you'd figure. I mean, considering with all the forests, you have plenty of wood and you could print it there. Yeah, well, that's the problem is everybody was like, well, yeah, you could have we could pay the Chinese these horrible wages, and they will work in these sweatshops to crank out these books, and then we'll just ship everything repeatedly across the world. Yeah, it's not a great plan, but what are we gonna do? Yeah. You've got an opinion on the socioeconomic structure of RPG printing? But yeah. Big shout out to the Bear crew. We've got 8 of you guys watching. I'm pretty sure it's mostly all of y'all. But let's see what else I was going to bring up here. Playing Draw Steel on Codex. I think we talked a good chunk about Draw Steel. What I'm thinking for next time. Well, what was I saying? Yeah, talking what we're reading for sure. You are just being vocal. She's like, you're not paying attention to me. Now I'm going to ruin whatever you're doing. It's all right, buddy. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some comments and people will be like, "Hey, man," as long as it's not, "Hey, you should talk more about D&D." Not happening. Or I'll just rip on it. I mean, it usually makes me feel good knowing how bad the game is. Bro, I closed my music show early and told them all to come here. Oh no, I thought you were done. I started late. I was busy. I was busy trying to get a thumbnail for the video, and then I just came up with, all right, I'm gonna take a still image of Drawsteel's cover and put my stuff in the corner. And then as I uploaded the thumbnail, I saw Restream in it, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not using Restream because otherwise it's going to cover all the text on my thumbnail. So yeah. I was pushing for midnight, but then you came on. I was like, fuck, let's go. Oh shit. I didn't know that. I thought you were rapping. I thought you said you were rapping at whatever, 10 o'clock your time or some such. Well, now I feel bad. See that? You could be listening to interesting music, but instead you're watching me over here have an argument with a cat. Talk about Drawsteel. Yes, sir. But other than that, let's see. What are we looking at here? Oh, there's my time. A little over an hour. That's the thing. Depending on how it goes, I'm going to try to keep these to be about an hour, 90 minutes. That's about it, I think. Because a lot of the streams I'm watching, man, they go for like 3.5, 4 hours. And they're just all over the place. I mean, even this one within an hour was a little bit all over the place. Generally speaking, mostly about gaming, though, I think, for the most part, which is good. We didn't go crazy into socio-political issues and other stupidness or what have you. Took a few digs at George R.R. Martin, but, he deserves it, that piece of shit. Other than that, 5 hours. You were doing music for 5 hours? Holy God. All right. Gaming is a lot of viewer interaction. See that? A lot of viewer interaction. It's all you guys. Came here because Bear growled at me. Oh. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, like I said, we'll see in the comments. Maybe people have some suggestions. I hadn't considered Nimble. I kept seeing it brought up, so I didn't know what the hell it was. But yeah, somebody looked at 5e and was like, okay, I want to make my own adjustments and make my own thing. Cool. Sounds like they did a better job than Tales of the Valiant, which is they just reprinted it. Much like a clone of BX. Why not? Chat is like players. They go where they want to bring the chaos at times. That's true. That is true. But other than that, let's see here. We got work in the morning. It is after, like, about 11:15, a little over an hour. I think this is a good point to stick a pin in it and let people disperse and go talk amongst yourselves. And for next time, we'll see. Possibly we'll have a co-host if I can wrangle somebody. I got to figure out the whole Restream thing. Well, now that I know that they put the thumbnail, they put Restream in the corner, I'll have to put my stuff elsewhere in another corner. Or I'll just have to pay whatever it is, $18 to get a month of Restream. And so I can actually post this to like Rumble and some other places. And maybe we'll get more people, get more disparate voices. There are people out there, I know it for a fact, who are like, for the love of God, I'm sick of hearing about D&D. I want to hear about other RPGs. So I'm with you. That's the whole point here. I'm trying to spread it out a little bit more than D&D. I don't want to hear another thing about BX or just anything else that's like, I've got a great game idea. Oh yeah, what is it? 6 stats. You might have heard of them. Strength, dex, and all right, let me stop you there. Yeah, any of those, we're good. We're good here. This is more for crazy stuff. We got Iron Kingdoms on there. I'm trying to see what we can see from the shelf. Definitely L5R. We got a little bit. We got all kinds of crazy stuff on the shelf, but I'm gonna stay away from D&D. But until next time, I think this is a good point to end it. Thank you for the Bear crew that showed up, and yeah, take it easy, folks.